In this part, what we're going to look at is the hood and what I did with that. First off, I took the gas tank off. You probably can't believe from what you're seeing right here that the gas tank is pretty darn mint, but it is. It's dirty, but overall it's in pretty darn mint shape. I think I might be able to get a shot of the inside just to show you. But let's see, can we get in there? Doesn't look, right, maybe a little bit right there. Let's see, whoosh, let's go inside. It is pretty darn clean. It just needs to be cleaned. Real happy with the gas tank. Can't complain about that at all. That's actually quite a score. One thing you'll notice, look where this filler neck is. A lot of people on eBay sell these gas tanks with a fill neck that's actually right here. The fill neck that's in this position, not this position, in this position, those are for Suburbans. 1961, 1962 Suburban. The gas fill in the forward position are for RJs. The tank straps on a Suburban and the tank straps on an RJ are in two different areas. They're not the same on the hood. So when you look at eBay and you want to buy a RJ gas tank, you need the gas tank with the forward fill neck, not the one in the middle. At the end of the video, I will show you the difference specifically between the two tanks. Now back on topic. It just, as you can tell, I get kind of angry about that. I can't stand people that sell Suburban parts as RJs, or they sell Suburban saying that it is an RJ. Not that people would fall for that kind of crap, but it pisses me off. You can tell I got burnt. Maybe twice in the past. But anyways, one of the issues of the hood was that the tank strap, the original tank strap was busted off. And what they did was they just drilled and put a screw and screwed the original half of the tank strap onto the hood. They actually did a pretty good job, as well most of the other fixes except for the axle. So I'm just going to redo that. I'm not going to, here's a little tidbit about RJs. The hoods are absolutely paper thin steel. Less is absolutely more when you're trying to restore or refurbish one of these hoods. Less heat, less work, less hammering, less everything is exactly what you need. Once you hit a certain point with the RJ hood, it's destroyed. It really is. So we're not going to put any heat. You can tell, look how paper thin the hoods are. You put any kind of heat to this hood, it's just going to warp, it's going to melt, it's just going to be a nightmare. I've tried it before, it doesn't work, and I suggest that you don't either. But you do what you got to do. As you can tell, let's see if we can get this stupid thing to focus. There it is. There's the hole for the tank strap. We'll go up underneath. It's not going to be bright underneath here, but you can see, where's that hole? There it is. The other half of the tank strap is right there. The rear tank strap is in place, nice and solidly mounted. Nothing to do there. This hood just needs to be completely washed and cleaned, and that's exactly what we're going to do to it. It did have a crash right in this area, so I lightly tapped it out with a piece of wood and my body hammer. There was a little bit of a cave-in right here, right where this unsupported screw was for the gas tank strap. I gingerly tapped that all out. It had the classic cave or fold line right here from the hood stand and the weight of the gas tank. Just gingerly with a piece of wood and a hammer knocked it out. And what we ended up with was a pretty flat RJ hood, or enough flatness in the RJ hood that I'm not going to take any more out of it. It's just going to leave it just alone. One of the most critical areas is right here around the fill neck. This really needs to be nice and straight. That way your gas tank cap sits real high up out of the hood. You'll see RJs online, Craigslist, where the cap is like halfway down and you barely can get your fingers on it to unscrew it and to screw it. That's just ridiculous. But then again, sometimes there's nothing else you can do because the hood is in such a bad shape. And it's either because of neglect or overworking it to try to restore it. So with this, we're just going to leave it alone. It's in real nice shape, as you can tell. It's real straight for what it is. Probably one of the nicer no-name hoods that I've ever owned. All I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of steel and I'm going to epoxy it underneath this area, re-drill the hole for the gas tank strap so that way we don't get a cave-in again. I'm also going to do the same here because we do have a crack in the steel. There's a baby one right here. And same thing, I'm going to cut a piece of thin steel. I'm going to epoxy it to the back side of the hood because I'm not welding to this. And then I'll just re-drill the 2 holes right in the original spots. And then that will be all it. So as you can tell, man, this thing, for me, I'm really liking this tractor. It's really going to look good. I like them all patinaed up. Refurbished, completely refurbished, running and driving 100%, but just wearing the old work clothes. All right, I'm going to go out to the shed, and we're going to take a look at the difference between an RJ gas tank and a Suburban gas tank. Okay, now we're out in the RJ shed. Let's take a look at what we have. And no, I don't leave these outside. These are actually in the shed, in the shelving, but it's so dark in there. All right, here's what we have. Over on this side, right here, that's an RJ gas tank. Over here, we have a Suburban gas tank. And let's take a look. There's the difference right there. Everything else is the same except for this. The fill neck on the RJ is right there. Forward. Suburban, it's in. That's a big difference because obviously that's the whole placement of the gas tank. In a Suburban, the gas tank is forward more in the hood than an RJ, and that was because of the cave-ins. You still see Suburban hoods caved in, but not as much or not nearly as bad as RJ hoods. This you can see. Now look, I'm going to try something here for you. Now if you see this line right here, that's a gas tank strap. Gas tank strap. Okay, I know this one's not. Actually, you know what? Hang on. Let's go in here real quick. 1, 2, 3. I think I have a. Yeah, here it is. Here's a more. Here's a shittier looking Suburban gas tank, but it's mint inside. But it's going to show you a little better where the gas tank straps are supposed to be. Now on a Suburban, as you can tell, the gas tank strap is right here, and the gas tank strap is right here. So let's line that up with the gas tank. So there you go. So if you look at them lined up by the gas tank straps of the hood, you can see how there's a difference. You can see how one tank doesn't necessarily drop right into the other hood. So in other words, you can't put a RJ tank in a Suburban because the tank strap would be right here, and you can't really put a Suburban tank in an RJ because it will barely clip. You know, here's the strap. I mean, it just barely gets on. So be careful when you buy these gas tanks, because that's a Suburban tank, that's an RJ tank, and that's a Suburban tank, and it all comes down to where the gas fill goes in. I think there's a tank on eBay right now that says that it's an RJ tank, and it's not. It's a Suburban tank. Suburban, RJ, Suburban. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. I appreciate all your interest in the tractors, and we'll talk shortly.